If you want the ultimate large luxury SUV, it has to be all electric and it has to seat 7, then you have to look at this car, the Mercedes EQS SUV. It's a lot more than just an EQS on steroids. The cabin is suitably futuristic, the drivetrains are potent, the technology is impressive, and of course, the prices are high.
The Mercedes EQS SUV aims to set the standard for a whole future era of high-end, full electric, large luxury crossovers, and here we're going to take a closer look. Having already developed the EQS full electric large luxury saloon launched in 2021, you might think it would have been pretty straightforward for Mercedes to then create a trendy SUV version of the same design, but not a bit of it. Development of this EQS SUV took 6 years, and 80% of the work that went into creating it was unrelated to the car's all-electric drivetrain. That, of course, was carried over unchanged, as was the basic EVA2 platform, which all EQSs and EQE models share. With everything else, though, there was a lot of work needed to make a powertrain and the structure designed for a boardroom saloon work equally well for a higher, heavier four-wheel drive SUV with 7 seats. To create it, Mercedes leaned heavily on lessons learned in the creation of their combustion-powered GLS model, and all of that was blended with EV technology developed for their EQXX concept car, which is based around the MMA platform, which will underpin the next generation of all-electric Mercedes models. In the EQS SUV, the end result of all that is a more significant car than you might think. Launched in 2022, it was the first of what will be quite a few large exclusive SUVIP crossover high luxury electric models from the premium brands, and the next stage on from, say, a BMW iX or Mercedes' own EQE SUV. Going forward, the headline maker in this more exclusive sector will be the Range Rover electric model, now being readied for imminent launch at the time of this test. But with the EQS SUV, Mercedes also wants a say in this segment. There's even an opulent Mercedes Maybach version. You can find out more about this kind of car by downloading, of course, the Car and Driving app. And if your interest is specifically in this EQS SUV, then you'll need the industry's most comprehensive review, the Car and Driving Road Test. It wasn't that long ago that we thought a large electric SUV was prodigiously heavy at around 2.5 tons, but that is a lightweight figure compared to the way an EQS SUV tips the scales at up to 3,129 kilos if you tick all the boxes. The energy required to move along something similar in bulk to a lower order African elephant is hardly eco-orientated and is of course considerable. 360 horsepower in the case of the 454 Matic version that most will choose, or 544 horsepower in the case of the faster 580 4MATIC variant that we're trying here. A lot of that weight is of course accounted for by this car's enormous battery, which is 118 kilowatt hours in size, and in base trim is supposed to take this car up to 400 miles between charges, whichever powertrain you order it with. In passing, we will also note that there is a third 680 designated powertrain available with 658 horsepower and a total 374 miles of range, but that is only fitted to the rather outlandish Mercedes Maybach EQS SUV, a gaudily trimmed flagship model that you might think twice about even if you had the lottery winner's bank account necessary to finance one. The sheer extent of all that weight makes Airmatic air suspension mandatory for every EQS SUV, which works through the Eco, Comfort, Sport, Off-Road and individual programs of the standard Dynamic Select drive mode system. Mercedes is usually very good at air suspension, and sure enough, this one feels magic carpet-like at a cruise, although it's rather less good at masking the effect of suburban potholes and speed humps. On the plus side, for an SUV well over 5.1 meters in length, this car does shrink around you nicely in town, with maneuverability aided by an excellent standard fit rear axle steering system, which reduces the turning circle by moving the rear wheels by up to 10 degrees. Rear axle steering is also supposed to improve higher speed cornering, but you're very unlikely to be putting that to the test here, because this Mercedes is so softly sprung that body roll is pronounced at anything other than medium speeds through the turns. More feelsome steering and active anti-roll bars would help here. At the time of this test, we hadn't yet driven this car's Range Rover electric arch rival, but we can't imagine that the Solihull product would have to try too hard to better the comfort-orientated drive dynamics that Stuttgart has settled for here. Still, a school-run cruise and a highway weekend trip up to the in-laws is all that most owners will want from this car, and it's completely in its element in either case, with a reasonable turn of speed possible on request. 62 miles an hour takes 6.2 seconds in the 450 and 4.8 seconds in this 580 on the way to the 130 miles an hour maximum that all models share. When cruising, the air suspension's ride height falls at above 74 miles an hour, which improves aerodynamic efficiency and also ups the driving range. What else? Well, refinement is brilliant. This car really is whisper quiet, and that's aided by a standard fit acoustic comfort package. Braking feel is rather less impressive. Mercedes really does need to get better at blending regen and friction braking. Talking of regenerative braking, there are 4 pedal shift orientated settings, with only the fiercest of them approaching 1 pedal status. You might not expect the dual motor 4-wheel drive system fitted to all EQS SUVs would take this car very far off piste. You'd be wrong about that actually. With the off-road driving mode that we mentioned selected, the air suspension rises by 25 millimeters and primes the 4MATIC system for slippery terrain. There's an off-road section on the central screen with wondrous gauges and readouts. The 360-degree camera system can also provide off-road graphics and special images like the so-called transparent bonnet view, which are ideal when you're driving over rocky surfaces. The EQS SUV is certainly a more imposing thing than the EQS Saloon. This isn't actually Mercedes' largest SUV though. Measuring in at 5,125 mils, it's 82 mils shorter than the brand's combustion-powered GLS, although the 1959 millimeter width is 3 millimeters wider than that car. There's 1,718 mils of roof height. Styling cues, including the steeply raked A-pillar with its nearby EQS badge and the muscular shoulder section, borrow of course from the EQS Saloon, although unlike that model, the doors here are framed rather than frameless. You wouldn't expect the drag coefficient to be anything like as good as the 0.20 CD figure of that car, and it isn't. This is rated at 0.26 CD, but Mercedes has done what it can in this regard, mounting the door mirrors on the vehicle shoulders and using flush fitted door handles. Sizing for the flush style wheels is large, either 21 inches or as in this case 22 inches in size, and SUV touches include wheel arch cladding and side running boards. As in an EQS Saloon, the front is dominated by the so-called black panel unit, which on UK models comes with this three-dimensional star pattern around the central brand badge. The LED headlamps feature the company's piercing digital light beams, and the light modules are illuminated from behind with a three-dimensional hexagonal pattern in combination with the daytime running light signature. Here that features 3 small triangles that differs from the 3 small light dots you get in the EQS Saloon. There are wide lower corner cutouts, and as usual with a large Mercedes EQ model, there's a clamshell bonnet here which is designed to be opened only during servicing. A service flap for washer fluid though has been integrated into the side of the left wing. At the rear, instead of the chunky spherical stance you get in a GLS, there's a more swept back tailgate with a subtle roof spoiler. There's usual EQ full width rear LED light strip, which has elements which are supposed to be in the shape of a curved 3D helix. The lower bumper has a lower diffuser look chromed element, which has an aerodynamically optimized spoiler lip. As usual, of course, what's more important here is what you can't see, and that's the rigid aluminium EVA2 electric vehicle architecture platform, which undergirds this car, and that was the first bespoke EV chassis Mercedes had ever designed. Let's take a look inside. Now, as you approach the driver's door, the flush-fitting handle springs out as you unlock the car. Unfortunately, when you grasp it, the whole thing flexes cheaply, and the rather limp sound of plastic uncatching plastic isn't quite the welcoming handshake you might have been hoping for from a six-figure premium luxury SUV. Get comfortable up front, and you do of course find yourself sitting higher than you would do in an EQS saloon, but the dash display is much the same, which means that as standard you get the brand's 1410mm wide hyperscreen, a signature EQS feature which includes a 17.7-inch OLED center monitor, flanked by a 12.3-inch instrument display and a further 12.3-inch OLED front passenger side screen. It all sits under a seamless glass cover, above which sits a slim vent spanning the entire width of the dashboard, flanked at either end by outer vents with a turbine design. From these corners, the dash flows almost seamlessly into each intricately crafted door card. Somehow, though, there's not quite the cohesiveness of design that you get in the EQS saloon. You sit behind this enormous oversized steering wheel, and particularly strangely in this SUV model, there's a curious combination of big side windows and a relatively small windscreen. Still, as in the ordinary EQS, you can't help but admire the materials Mercedes has so carefully selected for this car, as brands like Audi and Tesla have found getting wood, leather and metal to blend together with cohesive elegance is really difficult to do. But here, the trimming strips kiss together and look exquisite. Real wood, for example, on the wide top of the upper part of this center console. This twin stitch dash top is lovely. The rose gold finishing on the vents is smart, and after dark, circular contrast lighting, which is also used actively to designate phone, media or safety functions, completes the floating avant-garde aesthetic. Seating comfort is of course vital for VIP travel. Here there are superbly supportive climatized comfort spec seats with stitched Napa leather surfaces, which in this, their most elaborate form, get these little extra head poofs which hang down from the head restraints like hibernating nocturnal bats. And on top variants like this one, each powered front seat features multi-contour active side supports and 10 different massage programs. Meanwhile, no fewer than 17 step motors control the temperature and air distribution of the thermotronic climate control system, which uses solar sensors to climatically adjust itself. These are just a few of the 350 sensors built into this car to record everything from lighting conditions and temperatures to seat occupancy, the driver's blink of an eye, or the passenger's speech. These also enable this expression of modern luxury to be anticipatory, which is why there's a clever MBUX interior assist setup, which works by movement and gesture. For example, reach across to the passenger side of the cabin in the dark, and the car will automatically illuminate the area that you're looking at. It's all very impressive, but the defining element of the front part of this cabin, as we said at the beginning, is the screen tech. We haven't even yet mentioned all of it. Also included is an augmented reality head-up display too, with an enormous screen diagonal of 77 inches. But it's this hyperscreen here with its 3 interconnected monitors that'll most capture your attention. The driver's display that you view through this large steering wheel is customizable, and it can show driving information, driving modes, speed, range, driver assist features, and a lot more, all of which can be controlled from these steering wheel touch control buttons here. There are 7 selectable layouts: classic, sport, understated and off-road, along too with navigation, assistance and service. Plus, you can select various data options to appear in the center of the screen, like an eco display, audio preferences, or a reduced nav map. As you'd expect, this large OLED touchscreen in the middle of the cabin contains all the vehicle's infotainment functions using an 8-core processor and offering 24 gigabytes of RAM. To get to grips with this, you'll have to have logged in using the app or this fingerprint scanner here. Climate control functions are located at the bottom of the display. At the top left corner, you've got this little EQ pop-out that has all the charging related features. Next, try swiping down from the middle at the top or tapping this car button between the seats. That gets you access to favorite frequently accessed functions, things like the lane keeping assistant or the head-up display. Finally, if you tap the home button down here, right at the base of the screen, up pops the main MBUX feature menu that you might be familiar with from lesser Mercedes models for things like your apps, your terrestrial and satellite radio and media selections, and the comfort menu where you can customize things like the seat settings and the active multi-zone ambient lighting. Plus from here too, you have another way of accessing the EQ charging menu. The really clever bit though is a so-called zero layer here above the bottom edge of the central display screen, which alongside boxes for your audio source and for your phone settings can offer a selection of artificial intelligence-based suggestions for things the vehicle thinks you might want to do based on time of day, on map location and previous preferences. The Hyperscreen's single piece of glass continues on to the passenger side display. As soon as the car senses that someone's sitting alongside the driver, it'll offer up a button to power up this screen, after which you log in and then it replicates the central display's functions. That's not only useful for comfort, of course. The passenger can use Bluetooth enabled headphones to listen to their own music choices independent of the rest of the car, or select their own seat settings. More importantly though, it enables the passenger to fully act as a co-pilot for the journey. So the driver can ask whoever is sitting alongside to search out destinations, restaurants, charging stations, radio preferences or media selections, which when located by the passenger can then be easily transferred over to the main central display screen and activated. What else might you need to know? Well, Mercedes includes a lot of standard kit, including an air balance package which perfumes the cabin and a 710 watt Burmester sound system with these intricately fashioned speakers, which may help to compensate for a few reservations you might have about build quality, given the lottery level sums being asked for ownership here. The outer silver vents are made of cheap silver plastic and they feel like it, while this overhead panel flexes to the touch, and the climatized seats are ridiculously noisy in anything other than their lowest settings. Plus, despite Mercedes' best efforts, the Hyperscreen attracts plenty of reflections. Perhaps most irritating though, as in other Mercedes models, the steering wheel is absolutely festooned with fiddly little buttons. At least there's plenty of storage space. This lovely wood panel on the lower centre stack slides back to reveal a cubby, a wireless charging mat, twin USB-C ports and adjustable twin cup holders. Beneath this compartment is a further shallow floor-level storage area which has two further USB-C ports and an elasticated strap to prevent things slipping into the footwells. There's a big glove box which is where the standard air balance cabin scent dispenser sits. And you also get decently sized door bins and a really deep twin-lidded compartment here between the seats, which also has two more USB ports, yet again of the USB-C variety, which is why you have to fap about with all the USB-A converter leads in there. Let's take a seat in the second row. This EQS SUV shares the same long 3,210mm wheelbase as the EQS Saloon, but sits over 20mm higher. That bodes well for rear compartment space then. Let's take a look. Sure enough, second row passenger space is generous and legroom can be improved by using these powered seat bases, which go back and forth across a range of 130 mils to vary near in between 830 and 960 millimeters. The backrests are electrically adjustable too, reclining via this door-mounted switch. And because of the EV platform's flat floor, a third centre-seated adult can easily be accommodated. It is quite a light, airy space, and it's helped by this standard fit two-panel panoramic glass roof. As you'd expect, there's a rear compartment climate control panel, just below which is a pull-out compartment with twin USB-C ports and twin HDMI ports. And Mercedes provides overhead reading lights, large door bins, B-pillar vents and pockets in the silver-trimmed front seat backs. Spend more on your EQS SUV. You can have a version like this one with the brand's high-end rear seat entertainment system, which has two seat back screens, which are supposed to be able to stream video and TV, if you can work out how to set it all up. There are also backseat luxury package options with or without these scatter cushions here, luxury headrests and multi-contour rear seats which recline at up to 37 degrees. Both the option packs gives you the removable MBUX rear tablet built into the central armrest. This allows rear compartment management of the car's comfort and multimedia functions and replicates the front center display standard MBUX feature menu of these rear seat entertainment system screens. If you're on the front passenger side of the car, then you can use the comfort section to slide the seat in front of you forward into a chauffeur position, which will massively extend legroom. There's a compartment in the armrest with space for a wireless charging mat as well. Right, time to take a look in the third seating row. This is a standard fitment for our market, although not for others. Getting in doesn't require quite as much of a step up as is usually needed for the third row in this class of car. And the easy entry function creates a wider entry aperture too. That moves the backrest forward by 290 millimeters. Once inside though, it's not quite as spacious as you might hope, given the size of this car and the packaging benefits of the EV platform. There's very little legroom, and you'll certainly find it more squashed than in the brand's comparable combustion-powered GLS SUV. That's despite the extra 75 millimeters of wheelbase length that this model enjoys over that car. Because of the more swept-back rear styling, headspace is nothing like as good as a GLS back here either. And as usual in this kind of car, the high floor means that an adult is going to have to sit with knees up around their chest. In short, you'll need to think of this as a space intended purely for children, which you might not have expected to have to do with an SUV of this size. It isn't much compensation either that each side gets a vent, a cup holder, a trinket tray and twin USB-C ports, or that these rearmost side windows are relatively large. Let's finish with a look out back. The powered tailgate rises to allow for 1978 millimeters of height, so even tall folk will have plenty of headroom when loading. Unfortunately though, with all three seating rows upright like this, they won't be able to load that much in. There's just 195 litres of space in this configuration, accessed across this impractically silver-trimmed loading lip here. These two charging lead bags take up quite a lot of that, and there's nowhere else to put these because Mercedes doesn't provide any under bonnet frunk space, unlike some competitors. They don't do that with any EQS, nor is there sufficient room in this shallow storage area beneath the floor. You would hope that this underfloor area here would at least be able to swallow the parcel shelf, but no, it can't even take that. Just about the only thing that will fit under there is a load retention net. There is a 12-volt socket here, and there is also a light in the inner tailgate to help with nighttime loading, but overall you'd really have to say that a Kia EV9 at nearly half the price is better thought out as a practical 7-seat electric large family SUV. Most of the time, of course, EQS SUV owners are going to be travelling with this third seating row folded, which, a bit disappointingly, for the money being asked here, you have to do manually. The process is particularly awkward when it comes to raising these third row chairs, at which point the only way to avoid an undignified clamber into the load compartment on your hands and knees is to go round to the side doors there and push the middle row seat forward so you can get to those third row chairs to pull them up. With the rearmost pews folded, luggage space does of course rise substantially. That's to anywhere between 645 litres and 800 litres depending on the setting of the second row seats. These can also be placed into an upright cargo position. That's so you can cram more into the back. This means that even with 5 occupants, up to 24 crates of mineral water or 4 golf bags can be transported. Folding the second seating row can of course be done electrically via these silver buttons here on the right hand side of the load area. This then frees up access to load area bag hooks and side cargo wall retention straps. The backrests conveniently split 40-20-40 with everything folded flat. The load capacity figure rises to 2020 litres. At the time of our test in summer 2025, Mercedes was asking you to think in terms of a price starting point of just under £130,000 for EQS SUV ownership. That's for the base EQS 450-4MATIC. Obviously you'll need significantly more, around £140,000 for the faster EQS 580-4MATIC version. Both come with 7 seats as standard. 2 trim levels are available with both powertrains, AMG line Premium Plus, or for around £15,000 more, the plusher business class spec we have here. Think in terms of needing just under £7,000 more to upgrade to an EQS SUV from an equivalent EQS saloon. If you're comparing against the brand's combustion-powered equivalent model, the GLS, then you'll need to know that GLS pricing, as we filmed, for mainstream petrol and diesel models was sitting in the £111,000 to £125,000 bracket. You would think that Mercedes in the UK would be able to retail an EQS SUV at somewhere near that kind of pricing ballpark if it was going to import a version of this car with a bit less power and equipment. As it is though, there's quite a price jump to get yourself into this EV model. We should point out that if you really are a fan of excess, there is another EQS SUV option, the vastly more expensive Mercedes Maybach EQS 680 SUV, which has its own 658 horsepower dual motor powertrain. As we filmed, this very top model was priced from just over £200,000 in standard first class form, or from around £240,000 in top first class night series guise. But it's the mainstream versions of this model that we focus on here. Now the key alternative target model is the Range Rover Electric. That hadn't been put on sale in the UK at the time of our review. We expect it though to be in a similar pricing ballpark to this Mercedes. It's hard to see any other credible 7-seat full EV alternative to this EQS SUV in the segment, but it is worth pointing out that cars like Hyundai's Ioniq 9 and Kia's EV9 do much the same thing without a premium badge, but at nearly half the price. So, think carefully. If it is this Mercedes you want though, you'll need to know about standard specs, so let's take a look at that now. As you'd hope for the 6-figure sum required for ownership, even base AMG line Premium Plus trim includes plenty. So let's start with the drive orientated stuff. There's automatic air suspension, 10-degree rear axle steering and digital light with light band LED headlamps. Plus there's dynamic select driving modes and a heat pump too to preserve EV range in cold conditions. There is also the brand's active distance assist Distronic system. This is much more than just cruise control. It's designed to operate on a dual carriageway, and it works with a standard active steering assist setup to keep you in the center of your designated lane. And this EQS SUV comes too with route-based speed adjustment, which automatically adjusts the car's speed before curves, before roundabouts and junctions. and active stop and go assist too, which takes the strain out of highway travel, anticipating tailbacks, and then on reaching them, stopping the car before when it's possible to do, then starting it up again, all without driver input. Away from drive stuff, there's a panoramic sliding roof, 21-inch AMG alloy wheels, aluminium look running boards, rear privacy glass, acoustic comfort glazing, soft closing doors, an easy pack powered tailgate and keyless go, keyless entry, along with all the usual Mercedes app connectivity features and the Mercedes Guard 360-degree vehicle protection plus security system. There's also a vehicle tracker. There is too a year's free use of the brand's MB Charge Public Tariff L, which gives you free access to the MB Charge public charging network via either the Mercedes-Benz app, the provided RFID card, or the vehicle head unit. This includes tens of thousands of charging stations throughout the UK, including those at shopping centres, hotels, or motorway services. And it encompasses BP Pulse, that's the largest charging network in the UK. Inside any EQS SUV, the key feature is the brand's hyperscreen dash layout, which brings together a 12.3-inch LCD driver's display, a 17.7-inch OLED central display with haptic feedback, and a 12.3-inch OLED front passenger display, all of it under a seamless glass cover. AMG Line Premium Plus also includes a 710-watt Burmester 3D surround sound system, active ambient lighting, climatised front seats with Napa leather upholstery, and anthracite line structure limewood trim. There's also an augmented reality head-up display, a fingerprint scanner, a heated steering wheel, a wireless phone charger. There's thermotronic automatic climate control, that's in the front and the rear, EQ navigation services, a dash cam, and the air balance package. Now this perfumes the cabin. All EQS SUV models also have 7 seats, with the upholstery in all 3 rows fully heated. Media stuff is taken care of by the usual MBUX media system that's controlled either by touch, by voice, or by the MBUX interior assistant gesture control. And MBUX includes smartphone integration and a 5G communications module. Upgrade to the business class spec we have here, and your EQS SUV will come with larger 22-inch AMG wheels in high gloss black, while the cabin gets multi-contour seats with activating side bolsters, an energizing massage function, and the brand's lovely pillowy luxury head restraints. There's also electric art interior styling and the energizing package plus feature, which calms you with preset programs which incorporate ambient lighting, massage and music. Business class spec also gets you an MBUX high-end rear seat entertainment system, which gives you twin seatback screens in the second row there. Plus there's also multifunction telephony, a TV receiver, a rear phone charging mat, and lighter macchiato beige and space grey Napa leather upholstery. There is too ship's deck open pore walnut wood trim, which you'd have to pay a large amount extra to add to an AMG Line Premium Plus model. On to options. Your dealer is going to want you to consider one of the backseat luxury package options. The rear luxury package gives you an MBUX rear tablet built in between the 2 middle seat passengers, and that allows management of the comfort and the multimedia functions back there. Plus, MBUX interior assistant gesture control is extended into the rear, and there's also adaptive rear compartment lighting too, and rear seat climate control. Or you could go even further with the extended rear luxury package, which includes all of that, along with multi-contour rear seats which recline at up to 37 degrees, 2 extra middle seat cushions, a seat cushion depth extension of up to 100 millimeters, headroom and shoulder heating, designer seat belt buckles, the Seat Heating Plus neck and shoulder heating system, and a feature which enables you to power forward the front passenger seat from the rear into an extended legroom chauffeur position. As for individual EQS SUV options, you might want to look at the reversible boot mat, a boot storage tub, the usual roof cross rails and a tow bar. The main exterior visual option is the night package, which gives the exterior a high gloss black themed look. Across the EQS SUV range, refreshingly, most of the metallic paint shades available come included in the price, including the emerald green finish, which we have here. But you can pay extra if you want to for two more exclusive manufacturer paint options. Onto safety provision. As you expect, every EQS SUV is festooned with radars and cameras, which run all the features included on the standard Driving Assistance Package Plus. Specifically, there are multi-mode radars at the front and rear, plus the front also gets a long-range radar and a stereo multi-purpose camera. For close range sensing, there are 12 ultrasonic sensors and 4 360-degree cameras. You'll find the main camera features grouped in the central screen's settings menu in 3 categories. The main items lie in avoid contact, which has active brake assist autonomous braking. That includes a cross traffic function, which detects pedestrians and vehicles cutting across your path when you're making a turn. Avoid contact also includes ESP stability control, active lane keep assist and active blind spot assist. The latter two features use subtle steering assistance to correct the car when required. The active blind spot assist cameras also allow for an exit warning function, and this warns passengers if they're just about to open their doors in front of an oncoming pedestrian, cyclist or vehicle. Two other categories lie in the settings menu. There's driving, which has active distance assist Distronic, active steering assist and active lane change assist. And finally, there's the assistance category. Now this has traffic sign assist. This not only projects signs onto the dash, but it also warns you if you're running a stoplight, and attention assist, which monitors you for drowsiness. Plus there's traffic light view, which helpfully projects changing traffic light signals onto the screen when you're stopped right under a traffic light and you would otherwise have to crane your neck up to see that. Other driving assistance package features we have include active emergency stop assist that initiates immediate emergency braking if evasion is impossible. Plus there's also an active evasive steering assist feature which can support you in making evasive maneuvers if a vehicle, a pedestrian or a cyclist suddenly appears in your path. This car also comes with Pre-Safe Plus and Impulse Side. This uses inflatable bolsters inside the seats to put more space between those inside the car and anything that might be about to smash into it from the rear or from the side. As you'd expect, there's a speed limit warning system too. This one is thankfully quite easy to turn off. All the usual airbags are in place at the front and along the flanks of the interior, including large window bags which cover the side windows like a curtain. There is also a driver's knee bag and a front centre bag too, which in a severe side impact positions itself between the driver and the front passenger, reducing the risk of the occupants' heads making contact with each other. So this is all very reassuring. SUV downsides in terms of weight and bluffer aerodynamics are well illustrated here, whereas the EQS in 450-4matic form as a saloon will cover 467 miles from a single charge. Basically the same 118 kilowatt-hour battery in the EQS SUV 450-4matic will take you a maximum of 400 miles. Much the same range is applicable to the 580 4matic version. That 400-mile figure falls to 378 miles with the larger wheels of this plusher business class spec model. The Mercedes Maybach EQS 680 SUV, also with the same battery, manages up to 374 miles. Ultimate range may not matter too much if charging can be completed quickly. Here again though, the figures look fine but will need considerable update in the long term. That's because the EQS SUV, like its saloon and EQE counterparts, hasn't adopted the 800-volt electronic architecture that top Audi, Porsche and Genesis EVs use to charge at up to 350 kilowatts. Instead, there's an older tech 400-volt system which offers up to 200 kilowatt DC rapid charging capability. Still, at the current time, when chargers capable of working at up to 350 kilowatts are rarer than unicorns, the EQS EQS stats look just fine. 10 to 80% DC charge in all versions of this car will take only 31 minutes, and Mercedes claims that up to 186 miles of range can be added in as little as a quarter of an hour. As for home charging, well, if you only have a single phase 7.4 kilowatt wall box, you're not going to be able to charge this car overnight, because that would take 18 hours and 30 minutes for complete battery replenishment. Don't even ask about the charging period if you find yourself in a situation where you have to use a 3-pin domestic socket. You'd probably need a calendar for that. Obviously, things improve a great deal if your home or your office has a 3-phase supply. Using an 11 kilowatt wall box, you can reduce the full charging time to 10 hours and 50 minutes. And if you take advantage of the way that the EQS can be AC charged at up to 22 kilowatts, you can further reduce that time to 6 hours and 15 minutes. You can manage your charging regime via the Mercedes app or via the EQ section of the central screen there, which is divided into 4 sectors. Route shows DC charging stations along your journey. Range shows how different vehicle factors are currently affecting consumption. Charging allows you to choose between 3 personalized charging programs: standard, home and office, set battery temperature optimization, and activate an eco charge function, which restricts charge to 80% to preserve battery life. And finally, consumption graphically shows your recent drive efficiency in watt hours per mile over various time periods. What else? Well, all EQS SUV models are insurance rated at top of the shop group 50, and as with all EVs, you'll have to pay road tax, but your benefit in kind taxation will be low, 3% at the time of this test in mid-2025. Maintenance visits are every 2 years or 19,000 miles, whichever comes around first. You'll get a message both on the dashboard and via your Mercedes Me app, which will remind you of when a service is due. Fixed price servicing is available, and most customers opt for the Mercedes Service Care plan, and that's based on either a 2-year, 2-service deal, 3 years with 3 services, or 4 years with 4 services. The warranty is the usual 3-year unlimited mileage package. You get that with all Mercedes models, and there's up to 30 years warranty against perforation due to corrosion. The brand also offers pan-European Mercedes-Benz roadside assistance, and that's free for the first 3 years, and thereafter automatically renewed for 12 months every time the car undergoes a full Mercedes recommended service. And that can last until the car's 30 years old. The EQS's batteries are separately warranted for 8 years or 100,000 miles. The Mercedes S-Class could never have been developed into the GLS SUV. Both are very different designs, and in considering that, you get some idea of the scale of the engineering task involved in using just about everything from the EQS saloon, basically the S-Class of the future, to create the EQS SUV, which is why development of this exclusive SUV took so long. What's been achieved here as a result is in its own way quite impressive. Whether it's worth the amount of money Mercedes wants to charge for it is another question entirely. Still, this car's Range Rover electric arch rival has an equally sky-high asking price, so your choice between the 2 models will ultimately come down to the statement that you want to make. Choosing this Mercedes will mean a few compromises in drive dynamics. I mean, no one expects the handling of a luxury electric SUV of this size to be particularly engaging, but to be honest, we'd hoped for a little more than is served up here. Still, that probably won't bother the target market all that much. This Mercedes reminds us quite a lot of the last rather quirky niche market 7-seat SUV the Stuttgart maker sold here, the unusual combustion-powered R-Class of 2006. That car, like this one, also US built at Tuscaloosa in Alabama, didn't attract a large enough audience to justify long-term UK market existence, and we wonder whether a similar fate awaits the EQS SUV. The differentiating factor here, of course, is the EV powertrain and presence in a segment where currently there really isn't that much choice for those who simply have to have a premium badge with a car of this kind. Perhaps that will be enough to keep this model relevant in our market. It'll be interesting to see.